Community College Southeast Campus. You are in our community hall, named after you, the community, and of course, Portland Community College has community in its middle name. It's a great privilege to be able to host all of you here to our beautiful campus and to basically help facilitate what we believe will be a really active and impactful evening where hopefully you'll be able to use your voices and really start to think about what it means to advocate in the most impactful way possible and how to work with legislators and work with those who influence policy. So it's great to be able to be the place where we can really facilitate the community voice. So thank you very much, all of you, for being here. I'm so sorry. I'm Jessica Howard, and I'm the campus president here at Portland Community College Southeast Campus. So again, welcome. Thanks for being here. And now it's my great pleasure to ask to come to the mic a man who needs little introduction, but who did his State of the City address this year in this very building. Please help me welcome Mayor Ted Wood.
Thank you, Dr. Howard, and thank you, PCC Southeast Campus, for hosting us here tonight. We appreciate it, and we appreciate the fact that you always make this space available for community events. So thank you for that. Commissioner Fritz, thank you for teeing us off tonight. I want to acknowledge a couple of other electeds in the room as well. We have State Senator Michael Dembro is here. Diego Hernandez here as well. On his way, he will be here shortly. He's actually on a panel this evening. And we have PCC board member, Dr. Michael Sonnleitner, here as well. Right in the back. And did I miss any elected officials who are here in the room? How about that? That's a pleasant surprise. So we're going to, first of all, welcome you to Advocacy 101. You're going to have an opportunity to hear from a panel of state representatives who are going to give you some of their thoughts and their advice on how best to engage, given that the legislative session is coming up starting in January. And Commissioner Fritz is then going to lead us through a forum where she and I will have an opportunity to hear what you think our legislative priorities should be and why you think those should be our legislative priorities. And then we'll take that back to the rest of the City Council. You're also going to hear next from Elizabeth Edwards, who is the Director of our Office of Government Relations for the City of Portland, and she's going to kick us off tonight with sort of an Advocacy 101. And so that'll be the first part of the presentation. The second part will be the community forum. Commissioner Fritz, did I miss anything that I should have said that I did not? Very good. With that, Elizabeth Edwards.
Thank you, Mayor, for that introduction. Can everyone hear me? Is my volume okay? Yes, thank you. As the Mayor said, my name is Elizabeth Edwards. I am the Director of the Office of Government Relations. We are charged with being the city's lobbyists, in addition to also having international relations and tribal relations at the City of Portland. My job here is to help lay a foundation. We're going to talk a little bit about the legislative process. I'm going to run through some slides to make sure we're all on the same foundational page, and then I will invite up our panelists, and we'll have a moderated discussion and open up for Q&A, so you can ask elected officials and advocacy experts how they do their jobs, what helps when you are trying to make your case and get a bill passed or oppose a bill that's going through the legislature. And then, as the Mayor said, we'll shift to the second part of the evening, which is the town hall. So, with that, a couple of housekeeping matters. The bathrooms. If you need the restroom, you can go out through the door that you came in, take a left, and another left. There will be signs that will guide you there. We also have refreshments in the back. We know that evening events can be very difficult. Thank you so much for giving your time and for being here. If you need water, fruit, cookies, we have a lot in the back. Please feel free to get up and help yourself. Also, between the two segments of this evening, we don't have a scheduled break. So if you need to use the restroom, if you need to get refreshments, again, please help yourself. Also, just a few suggested ground rules this evening. Let's all be respectful of each other as we provide our feedback during the town hall and as we engage with our panelists on the Q&A. We want to make sure everyone's voice is heard. It's important that we provide space for folks to do that. So with that, I'm going to turn to the legislative process background, and I'm going to try and run through this fairly quickly. Welcome, Representative Hernandez. So, you want it? Quicker, please. All right. We have 4 goals. We're going to try and run through this in about 10 minutes. Overview of the structure of government, summarize the state legislative process, a quick introduction to online resources, and some basic advocacy tips. So we're doing a speed game here. Start with the very baseline. There are 3 branches of government in Oregon. It's the same as the federal government. You have the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. We are going to focus primarily on the legislative branch this evening. We'll touch a little bit on the executive branch, not so much on the judiciary tonight. So Kate Brown is our governor. She was reelected. The legislative branch is comprised of 90 elected officials. We have 30 in the Senate, 60 in the House. Each Senate district is comprised of 2 House districts. They fit perfectly within the Senate district boundaries. All right, next. A couple of terms to know. We'll talk about bills and laws and statutes and codes and ordinances and the ORS and the OAR. What are we talking about? What does this mean? So in case these terms come up. And I want to start with lobbying, because I'm a lobbyist, and sometimes that's considered a bad word. Your right to petition your government is enshrined in our Constitution, and lobbying means to seek to influence a public official on an issue. My hope tonight is that you all leave this event feeling a little bit more equipped to help lobby, to help advocate for issues that you care so much about. So, a couple, very busy. Oh, and I am remiss. I need to introduce members of my staff who will also be available to help answer questions. Stacy Cowan is state lobbyist with our team, and Eric Knoll is our associate. So they are resources here as well this evening. A bill is a formal proposal for a law. I think I'm just a bill sitting up on Capitol Hill. A statute is once that bill is passed into law. So it's already gone through the whole process. It's been passed by both chambers, signed by the government. It becomes a statute. Those are all captured in the Oregon Revised Statutes. That's the ORS. If you hear people talking about the ORS, that is basically the body of Oregon law. You can get a little bit more complex with that, but that's basically what that is. Now, what is the OAR? The Oregon Administrative Rules. Let's say the legislature passes a complex bill, then it comes to a state agency to actually determine how do you implement that bill? What does it mean? Reading between the lines, what do you want to do when you say, go forth and enact X, Y, or Z? Well, state agencies will do a rulemaking, and they will get into the weeds of how to actually implement laws that are passed at the legislature. And that's actually under the executive branch. So a little bit of legislative, a little bit of executive. We also have ordinance and code up here. This is because I work for local government. An ordinance is what we use at the city level to talk about what would be the equivalent of a bill at the state. And code is our laws. Those are our statutes. So a little bit of terminology difference between local government and state government. Okay, so you have an idea, right? This is what we want to talk about. You have an idea. How do we walk it through the process? What does that look like? You always start by doing your homework. Do your research. Most folks are able to identify the problem. The next step is looking for solutions. And really there is not too much new under the sun in 2018. So look at what other states have done. Look at if there's any prior bills that have come from the Oregon legislature. See if maybe there's something at the local level that has occurred. Look for other resources, what other folks are doing, and it will give you some idea about maybe how to attack a problem if it's been tried before. Also, don't be afraid to ask do you need a law to fix the problem? This is actually a question that we will ask folks at the city that will come to us and say, hey, there ought to be a law for this. We might say, well, maybe there already is a law and it's not being enforced. So maybe it's a matter of funding. Maybe there already is a law and the rule implementation was done in a way that we don't like. And so we need to make a change to the rule. Maybe it's a matter of better communication between parties. Maybe it's something that can happen at the local level. So we go through this analysis and we do our research. All right. This kind of goes hand in hand with doing your research. You want to vet the idea. What do I mean by that? Find a friendly legislator. Talk to him or her. Say, hey, I have this idea. What do you think? Are you familiar with this? One thing to keep in mind is that if you want to go forward with the bill, you will need a legislator to introduce it for you. As a non-legislator, I can't get a bill. It's not available to me. So you need to work with our partners at the state. How do you find a friendly legislator? Well, one thing to do is go on OregonLegislature.gov. There is a little window in the bottom right-hand corner where you can enter your address and it says, find who represents me. That will give you who your state representative is, who your state senator is, who your members of Congress are. Those are going to be your first stop for friendly legislators. You can also think about, are the folks that are out there talking about the issues that you care about? If you know that you really care about housing and a legislator has been talking a lot in the news about housing, feel free to reach out to them and engage them. Also reach out to stakeholders. If you have an idea for a law, there are going to be more people that are going to be interested in the idea. And that change in the law will impact people. It will impact people positively and it may impact people negatively. Don't be afraid to reach out and talk to folks on all sides of the issue. It will make you better at making your case. It will help you know the issue. It will help you be prepared when you finally get to the legislature and you need to argue in favor of that particular concept. And be prepared to compromise. Right? Going through a process with 90 people, with 90 legislators, it means that your idea is going to morph and change. And that's okay. The system is structured that way. So embrace that, be a strong advocate, and know that compromise is part of the process. And then go ahead and ask a legislator to sponsor a bill for you. So now, this is all leading up to, I'm just a bill sitting up on Capitol Hill. That's the precursor. So now, you are a bill sitting up on Capitol Hill. We have a handout in the back that has that graphic that was up on the prior slide. There's also tips and tricks for advocacy on the back, in English and Spanish. So if you want that, feel free to grab extra copies. We'll also have it on our website. Okay, so you get the bill drafted. You ask the legislator, please, will you draft this for me? They say, sure. Send them the problem statement and what your proposed solution is. They will talk to legislative counsel. Legislative counsel are a group of nonpartisan professional attorneys at the legislature who write all of the bills. So you don't need to be a lawyer. Legislature has lawyers. They will draft up your bill for you. You have a chance to revise it. You can say, yes, no, this looks okay, tweak this, tweak that. Work with them, work with your legislator, make it right. And then, once the legislature is in session, that bill will be dropped. If you've ever heard the phrase dropping a bill, it's kind of a strange thing. It used to be that there was an actual inbox, a physical inbox, where you would walk up to the Capitol steps on the inside and you would drop your bill in that hopper. That's where that phrase comes from. So you introduce the bill. The bill is now live. This is the first time that it's going to be widely publicly available. Well, people will be able to see that idea, that bill. At that point, it will get sent over to a committee. So if it's a House bill, the Speaker of the House will assign it to a committee. If it's a Senate bill, the Senate President will assign it to a committee. Now, you have your committee assignment. Next slide, please. Thank you. Now you should work with your legislative champion and with the chair of the committee and request a public hearing. That is the next step. Public hearing is the first time for proponents and opponents of a bill to come and actually advocate for why folks should support or oppose a piece of legislation. highly recommend submitting written testimony and getting additional information in and on the record. Legislators can review it in advance and during the hearing. And if this is your bill, make time to go down and testify in favor of your bill and bring other supporters with you. They want to see that there is a body of folks that care about this issue, that want to support it and see it move forward. So let's say your public hearing goes well. And you reached out to the chair, you had the public hearing, do some follow-up with other members of the committee. Don't be afraid to reach out to other members of that legislative committee and say, hey, do you have any questions? I'm a big supporter of this, or if it's not your bill and you oppose it, listen, these are the reasons why this isn't a good piece of legislation.